Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into this thing. All right, we got a lot going on. The Vols have picked up 3 scores over the last week. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Also, an update on the Ncaa hearings and what all's happened and kind of where we stand. All right, let's get started with the basketball team. Rick Barnes has picked up 3 players, all quality players that can score. And they score in different ways. We're going to talk about them. And, of course, the first guy was Jordan Gainey, who's a 6'4" shooting guard. And he's a quality player. He's a good shooter from outside. And if you look at his last 2 years here, his first year, his freshman year, he shot almost 50% from 3. Last year, he shot 35%. And he's a really good scorer. He scored 15 points a game last year. And at 6'4", and the quickness that he's got, I don't think he'll have any trouble getting an open shot. And that's really important in the SEC because what they try to do with the shooters is put the quickest guy on them and try to stay in their face. But at 6'4", he's really tall for a shooting guard and should have no trouble getting his three-point shot off. So I think that's a real nice pickup because really offense was our problem last year, especially after we lost Ziegler. That even made it worse. So I think this guy can help us. So let's take a look at our second guy, which is Chris Ledloom. Now, this guy has got some size to him. He's 6'6". He's not that tall, but he's 225 pounds, and he's not going to get pushed around in the middle. And in the SEC, you need some guys that can handle themselves inside, get some rebounds, and not get pushed around. And he's also good around the basket. He scored 18 points a game, got some nice rebounds. So I think that's probably to play defense, get some rebounds, and not let anybody push us around inside. Because even at 6'6", you're thinking that may not be tall enough. Let me show you a couple of guys that weren't that tall that were really good, that were also big. You folks probably remember these two fellas. Well, Williams was 6'7", and Schofield was 6'5". Nobody, I mean nobody pushed these two guys around, ever. So it's really, if you're going to be 6'6", you need to be a big dude, and this guy's got plenty of size, so that will not be a problem, and I totally understand why he picked him up. Now, this last guy, Dalton Knecht, from northern Colorado, is very interesting. This guy is super talented. He can shoot from the outside. He's got all kinds of ball skills and can jump and can dunk like you can't believe. This guy is a very interesting pickup for Rick Barnes and the Vols. And as you can see, he scored 20 points a game, and he also is a pretty darn good rebounder. Now, I understand he wasn't in the SEC or the ACC, but I'm going to show you this little highlight. Just kind of gives you an idea of what an athlete he is. And I got this little video off Twitter. All right, so as you can see, he's very athletic. At 6'6", he's not going to have any trouble getting his shot off at the three-point line. So I really think this is a great pickup. I was really pleased. I watched this guy's highlights, and they're really good. This guy could be an important addition for the Vols. So I like these 3 guys as pickups. You've got the 2 scorers, and this guy is kind of an enforcer but also can score. So 3 nice pickups. Now let's talk about the Ncaa update. And this is on WBIR Sports. It says breaks down what was said, and it gives the details of the panel hearing with Jeremy Pruitt. And it's reported here that Donde Plowman and Danny White and SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, and that's important, Greg Sankey, vouched on Tennessee's behalf, saying the NCAA should not give a postseason ban for those allegations. They asked the NCAA to move along in the process and allow UT to focus on its future. White made a case that the culture has changed at the university. Sources said Jeremy Pruitt and his legal team made a defense fighting against a possible show cause penalty. We know that 4 of the coaches have already accepted their penalties and agreed to it. Said Pruitt claimed he had no knowledge of these recruiting violations, even though those involved included his wife and direct reports to him. Said Pruitt's lawyer's argument was that if Plowman and Fulmer didn't know about it, it's plausible that Pruitt would not know about it. Says a postseason ban could still be on the table for UT, but is not likely, as people like Sankey spoke on behalf of Tennessee. Recruiting restrictions, lost scholarships could happen, and there could be a fine. They're talking about between $7 million and $10 million, which Ole Miss paid $179,000 on theirs. So I don't know why this is going to be $7 to $10 million. That seems high. And said the decision could happen within the next 6 weeks as far as the punishment. So a lot going on. So I was thinking 8 to 12 weeks, but it sounds like it might come even sooner. I think with Greg Sankey being there, that should make a significant difference. He's obviously there saying, look, he was the guy that came up with not having the postseason ban. He headed that whole team of that. And just to remind you of what that that group put together, they have a bylaw now that they didn't have back in the Ole Miss days. And it says, to the greatest extent possible, they are not to punish student athletes that had no involvement, which means, all the kids that are there now, you wouldn't want to punish them. So a fine seems to make sense, and maybe some scholarship reduction, but that'd be about it. And plus, of course, the Vols cooperated tremendously and handed over everything. If there was any evidence, they handed it over. So just a quick update on those items of the day. Thought that was kind of interesting. I'm fired up about the basketball team. We had so many problems on offense. I think this will help resolve that. Getting those 2 shooters and getting a guy to be in the middle, sort of like Olivier, that can help you out with defense and rebounding and score. So I like all 3 pickups. I think that's fine. And we'll find out about who's staying. It sounds like a lot of the guys that are out there trying to make a decision, like Euros, possibly Triple J, and also Phillips. Sounds like they may be heading to the NBA or something along those lines, or maybe to Europe. But, one may come back. We'll see. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols and all the goings-ons. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. Just hit that little button. Costs you nothing. Helps me out. And right over here is my most recent video. Be sure to check that one out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.